Welcome back to another video. Today we will be trading NFP live with Mr. Jason Noah. Okay, so just before we get into everything, just a backstory. So when I started trading back in the day, it was actually me and Quentin back in university. So we were actually trying different business ideas, different things. And then Quentin one day showed me this guy trading Forex. And I had no idea what trading was. And that young guy's name was Jason Noah. He was 19 at the time. He was like already killing it in the industry. So there was only two mentors at the time. It was Go Forex and then it was Forex Kings. So obviously Forex Kings being in Hatfield at that time was perfect for us. So that's actually when me and Quentin met Jason. We did a private class with him, and yeah, we had already got straight into trading. And obviously throughout the years we had a few conversations, we had a few chats and things. So it was basically a whole journey with him. And obviously without Jason, I would never be in trading. I would never be still in my position where I am today. So I'm obviously always grateful, and that's why I decided to do this video, is to obviously show gratefulness and obviously teach you guys and educate you guys about news trading, the pros, the cons, the risks, the rewards, all those things. So let's get straight into it.
Okay, so let's quickly first look at the fundamental aspect of the market. So news events, fundamentals is obviously what we look at. So you get the technical aspect where it's physically us analyzing the market in a technical perspective where we use certain technicals like support, resistance, whatever it is, to obviously trade the market with. Then we always need to remember that the market is also driven by fundamental aspects like news events, news releases, etc. So as we are trading the world currencies, that if something happens to the dollar that is bad for the dollar, that will obviously cause some weakness in that dollar because they are losing strength in their currency. So that will obviously affect the markets. So now there's actually certain news events that gets released every week on certain times, certain days, that will have an effect on the market. So today, for example, we have the unemployment rate and the NFP, the non-farm payroll. So you can actually just click on it and say, well, what is NFP? Then you can actually just go and read it. So non-farm payroll measures the change in number of people employed during the previous month, excluding the farming industry. So it's basically just how many people did they employ excluding the farming industry. Okay, so obviously the more people they employ, the better it is for the currency. So higher than expected rate is bullish or positive for the dollar. Now we have the unemployment rate. So how many people are unemployed? Obviously, this is a different perspective. Okay, if there's less people unemployed, then that's obviously better. So if you come higher than the plan, then obviously it's not good. So it's very, very important to take note of that. And the reason NFP is difficult to trade is because there's two different news events coming up. And one thing to always remember is with news event, the question you should ask yourself is it sustainable? Is it something you can do in the long run? So when I started trading back in 2015, news events weren't actually a thing because there weren't a lot of guys around in the trading industry. You didn't actually see people trading news. I also tested a few things regarding news events. And at that time, we had like 1,500 to 2,000 points or 150 to 200 pip moves in the news event. So there's quite big moves on normal on currencies like your USD. That's trading Nasdaq wasn't the thing yet. It was just trading currencies. So we were trading USD, etc., and then it was big moves. And about 2 years in, all of a sudden, everything changed. The news didn't move anymore. For over 2 years, there was just no fundamental pressure in the market. And that's what I always say, the first reason it's not sustainable is news had a big year fundamentally because of the recession happening all over the world. And that obviously causes more pressure on the currency. But as soon as everything stabilizes again, I'm pretty sure news will go back to doing 15, 20 pip moves where it gets to a point where it's not worth it to obviously trade it. And for me, it's always like we have so much happening within the market on a daily basis. There's so many good trades lining up the whole time. Look at all that simple buys lining up. But now you actually sit the whole week, just forget about a perfect trading week. And all you do is you sit and you wait for 10 seconds to trade the 10 seconds on a Friday afternoon. So once again, there's so much money to be made in the market that you don't just need to wait for NFP, that you can actually just enter the market and take your trades based upon your analysis. Then if you are in a news event already during the news, you lock your profits and you obviously hold your trade because then your position was already calculated, your risk was already calculated before the news event. So there's two ways to approach it if you're already in a trade. If you have done correct risk management and you're happy with taking a loss, then obviously you can just leave your trade open. Make sure your stops are in place. Make sure your stop loss is at break even or something in that sense. But you also need to remember with news events, especially big and volatile news events, we need to know that market can open here and then all of a sudden just be there. It's not because of a broker or anything. It's because there's no price between that level and that level. Big news event comes out, the price only captures the data once again when it gets to 1298. So it's very, very important to remember there can be big gaps on a news event, just like we can have big gaps over a weekend as the market goes on. So the risk factor is always going to be there. Then the second thing to ask is can you actually predict where the news is going? The one thing we need to realize before we do that, it's a 50-50. It's always a 50-50. Obviously, risk reward wise, there is more space on the right events, but it's still going to be a 50-50. You can either buy or sell, and the market can only buy and sell. So if you choose, okay, NFP is going up, I'm going to buy, then obviously there's a chance, 50% chance you can go up, 50% chance it can go down. Same with the other way around. So let's quickly look at the news event that is coming out. So how do you actually backtrack the event? So what you mostly try and do is you focus on the middle point or the norm of where is the data, where was the data, where's the data going? So look at the dates as well, taking consideration COVID, recessions, all those things the whole time. So here we have previous 315K, forecast 250K, 263. It's quite a lot of jobs created, better than expected. So now we go to October 7, 1430. Okay, October 7, 1430. Okay, let's first go and see if that was good data. That means dollar is gaining strength. That means Nasdaq should be selling. Let's look if Nasdaq sold on October 7. Okay, October 7, 1430. Nasdaq did end up selling. Just quickly rewind so we can actually look at it on smaller time frames. Let's look at the whole build up. Okay, goes too far. So I can already see something that can actually be a very big problem. So a lot of people obviously in the news event just before the news. So now it's 2 o'clock. Just look at what happens before the news event. Market spikes up 33 points. And then the big sell to the downside. Okay. So about a $200 move going to the downside. So once again, just that big spike in the opposite direction, indicating pulling in some buys and then price selling. Okay. This was perfectly fine. Let's also look at the unemployment rate. because that is big. Okay, it was also green. Both of them going the same direction, indicating the same results. That's why the market only went one direction. Now, the next one is 261, November 4. Let me just quickly take this off. November 4. Okay. Quickly wait for it. So look at November 4. There's no way you're making money on this event. So that's why there will always be risk to it. Okay. So let's say the first time you had a 2,000 Rand account or $200 account, news came out and you made about 2-3 times your account. Okay. Now, next news event comes out. Obviously, you're confident and obviously you want to make more money, because why stop if you are in winning season? And same thing, price pushes down. Let's see what happens with NFP. Spikes up to about $40, then it spikes down to $150. So whether you sold or bought, you will most probably be in a position where you lost money. Doesn't matter which direction you went. So same result. Let's look what happened after the news. Okay, market just pulled back just past entry points. So once again, didn't actually do anything. So let's look at the data. It was green, and this one was most probably red. And that's why news trading will 80% of the time end up in a loss. Okay, because it is tricky, and that's why the key element to news trading is start having the same starting balance with every event, calculating the same risk, having your risk factors in place before the event, and then taking it from there. So I'm not going to go through every single event. Obviously, it's boring for you guys just to keep seeing the same data, same thing. So let's quickly look at today's event and let's see what our prediction is for today's event. Obviously, I'm going to take the trade based upon what Jason is saying. I've attended about 4 of his news events. Number 1 was the CPI. We had a big win. So if you had like a small account, you would have made about 500-600% on your account. Second one, same results. Third one just went up or down, didn't actually do anything. So pretty much 2 wins, 1 break even, and today's event number 4. So it's once again good to remember that if you now come in and this is your first event you're trading and you lose money, then it's like, it's not because of any bad calls or anything. If you attended all 4 events, you'll be up by like 800%. So if you lose, you're still up 700%. So that's why it's always a game of risk reward and a game of odds, where if you now did all the events and you lose today, you're still up 700%. If you didn't attend it, then obviously from there you can start losing. So let's quickly look at what I think is going to happen to the event, and then obviously we'll wait for 15:30 to see what he thinks. Okay, so let's look at the mineral data. 3.5, 3.6, 3.7. 3.7 straight off. 3.6, so we can see obviously there's a gap, time difference between those two, so it can go down in that time. So this was on 3.7, slowly made it its way down to 3.6. Forecast was 3.7, came back 3.5. Perfect for it. So now at the moment we are sitting at the low 3.5, so the forecast is 3.6. Only been on 3.5 once, so I can see the forecast being right on a 3.6. If it's on a 3.6, then obviously it's higher, and it's obviously actual, so it will be the same as December 2, but it's still obviously bad for the currency because it's the unemployment rate. High unemployment rate leads to dollar falling. So on this, we see dollar dropping to the downside. Okay. Then we can see we've had some green data, market it's been going good. This is the non-farm payroll, so how many people they employed. So a lot of people have been employed since COVID, obviously with the recovery. Now they're forecasting a red one, data to be bad. I don't think we'll go to 185 just with all that good data. So I do see us coming back higher than the forecast. I also see a green, and that will indicate to me that most probably the dollar will be, or Nasdaq will be selling today. Okay, guys, so the signal is being sent out in about 2 minutes on the group or on the Zoom call. The account's funded and it is ready. I will be trading US30 and I will be trading with a 1 lot size. Okay, everyone. So the signal has been given out to sell US30 for the news event. Obviously, the sell is being placed as we speak. So yeah, let's join them and let's sell. Market usually pushes towards the opposite side before NFP, so let's add a 1% sell. Just accept that, and we are in. You can see we have some space. That's obviously why I'm not over leveraging the account, over trading the account. So I do have some space to run up or down. Okay, guys, the trade was a success. Jason called it. He called the sell beforehand. Market end up selling. We did end up making about $174 profit, so we almost made 100% on this specific trade. Jason himself made just over 600,000 Rand on the trade, which is amazing and actually ridiculous. So big ups to him. Glad we did this video so we can all learn and all educate ourselves on the fundamentals of news trading. So yeah, let's check what happened to the data and let's see how it was affected. Let's quickly refresh this. So obviously seeing that the market went down, most probably we would have some green data. It's exactly what happened. So both probably should be green. And yes, both is green. And the reason for the market moving into one direction is the fact that both of them are green. 517K and a 3.4% green means stronger dollar and a sell on Nasdaq. Okay, guys, so we can see the move is done. The sell did play out. We had about $170 move. Jason was right, number one, and he did end up bagging about 690,000 Rand. Well, actually 630,000 Rand was closed eventually. So big ups to him, obviously helping a lot of people make money, helping a lot of people win this round as well. So big congratulations and a big ups to him. On to the next one.